And I don't know why people, I know Tony has this view. I don't know why people who get so passionate about why they get upset by, footballers bringing some of the realities into the world, into the sport.
I'm not upset about that. I'm upset about the link with BLM because it's a Marxist movement.
But that's because you constantly link the taking the knee with that. I think what's happened over the last year is the taking the knee is almost sort of a separate act of remembrance.
I don't agree.
It's a passive act of remembrance of remembering about police brutality and particularly racism, where black people, particularly men, are subject to violence and their deaths, and what happened in America.
Everybody no one wants to agree with that, but it's the actual stance that I don't agree with.
But the point is, here we have a group of young men, black and white, across football, and it was in the Premier League last year, deciding they wanted to do this as a passive act of remembrance. And I think they should be applauded for that. And I think it bode well last night that it overtook some of the booing of the England squad in previous matches.
I hate the booing, but I think they should stand tall against racism. Yeah, stand tall,
that's one way to do it.
Don't get on your knees.
It's been a moment of controversy, and now it has been. Esther, I'm somebody who does believe in freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So if the footballers want to make that stance, then that is, entirely down to them. We all agree that we need to get rid of racism, absolutely. But what I would say is, why did they need to take such what would be viewed as a controversial or a divisive stance, which is taking the knee, because it is linked to a Marxist movement, which is like defund the police. Yeah. So what I would say is, unfortunately, if you're prepared to take the knee and that's what you want to do, and that's fine, they could have stood tall and they could have said, we're against racism, but then you must take it on the chin if some fans want to boo you because they don't agree with the political movement Black Lives Matter. And that's all I can say.
But in football,
did you need to make such a divisive stance? Scotland won't do it any of the time but that game, because they must have thought it was a divisive stance. So I think we're all
yesterday
right.
It wasn't divisive on the pitch, though, was it? Divisive yesterday, and look.
Well, there was booze as well.
But look,
but not as much as the game afterwards, because that was such a lacklustre game from England.
I don't sign up for everything some people who support the Black Lives Matter movement argue for. But I remember a time where we were ashamed.
Well, they are defunding the police.
We were ashamed to have the St George Cross because it was dominated by those on the far right, the National Front and others, who used that to basically promote racist views in this country. And for a long time, people didn't feel confident about the St George Cross. We've moved way away from that today, and now we can proudly, fly the St George Cross without it being connected to that. I think the Take the Knee, which started in America, which was a response within the football, their particular football, not our football league, American Football League there, as a sign of respect. And there was a discussion about how they were going to do it during those matches. And I think, we should, if people want to own this element of bringing the reality of racism into a sport where we have, half the players are black, for goodness sake, within our England team pretty much. I think that's a good thing. And I don't know why we're getting so worked up about this. Maybe we should get more worked up about footballers promoting fizzy drinks.
Well, let's talk about exactly that.
I'm going to go over to